having financial success is part of just being a whole human. It's your stability, it's your relief of anxiety related to that. And if you were my client and I was going to sit you down and go, okay, let's revamp your business life, the first thing I would do is be like,
welcome to the Whole Human Experience, your library for experiential wellness.
Nexia.
That's the Nexia Luxe.
Luxe.
Yes.
All right. I can tell that it's Luxe. How does it not? I mean, this,
I know. It looks
casing.
like a Tom Ford.
Okay, so
go like this. Yep. That is, just for the record, custom hardware. So it's hard to kind of do it in your lap, but they go out to the side. Okay, so both of those heads, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
Right? So both of those heads actually kind of smush in.
Yeah. So
that's a prototype. So feel the other one now? Because you hear how that one kind of has a clacky noise?
Oh.
And so this was a last minute change I made, and people got really pissed off because their Luxe kits came without their large plates. But I was like, trust me. Yeah. You want the better plate.
See, yeah, because you can get the different angles.
Yeah, you can literally wrap it around your shoulder. So I know you're thirsty to have your big plate.
You need a big plate.
I'll get you some big plates. Don't worry.
I surf a lot.
You're like, I'm a big boy. I need
big boy plates.
I need big discs. Okay, so grab it like a jewelry box.
Okay.
Oh, so you see those?
Yeah, because I know how to grab a jewelry box. Wow.
So, those are the 3 heads, and then you have the option to use it with the handlebar, which is awesome for couples. You know, because they can sit or lay in front of you. Yeah, yes. But I also use that like to do my own back and my legs. It just gives you 2-handed.
And then obviously.
And then you've got the Nexia, 2 batteries, and you can turn it on. And it will, and I like to use it with oil. You know, dry brushing is usually on dry skin, but there is no reason to do it that way. And what's crazy, Ryan, is we use like the 930, 940 spectrum. So people are like, oh my God, it's so hot. Like,
oh, it actually heats up.
But it doesn't heat. It's the tissue. It's like at the level of the mitochondria, and you're 6 centimeters in. So you're well into the fascia. So yeah, it is, you know, I don't know if the Luxe is going to be the household item or the basic, but I can tell you when we put it out there to sell, 82% of the people chose that over the basic. I'm talking about they gave me money, chose it, not just like, oh, I like that one better.
Yeah, that's a setup though.
But it's beautiful because I don't feel like it's anything like, oh my God, the Luxe box, I have to have da. I think that is the perfect time in history that people are willing to invest in their health in this way. Like they're looking for this. This is a whole 20 years ago when I had my sports medicine clinics, there was zero market for this. It was like the guy that came around with the magazine and ordered your gnarly rehab stuff, you know, and none of that stuff was going, you know, direct to consumer. So I think that we've had the wave of, you know, $130,000 red light beds. We've had everything that Therabody has come up with. You know, they're reinventing cupping and this and that, you know, and then, you know, the plastic surgeons are getting better. Everybody's kind of getting better.
Yeah.
And I think with that, I think even like our parents' generation is kind of going like, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? I want to freaking feel good. And, you know, the Nexia for me, this is I hope it lasts forever, but it's going to last at least 5 years. Like it is a have to have tool in your toolbox. And you know, personally, because I gave you a prototype. Sorry, he's a close friend. And it was one of the ones that was kind of grinding and going louder, but you're like, I don't care.
Oh, but it was amazing.
Right.
And I used it after the surf. I got out using my shoulders, and it supported my recovery so much because I know what it's like to surf every day, to do 2-a-days and to have that regular schedule. I know how I feel.
That's right.
After 3 days in a row of 2-a-day surfing.
Right. Then you need a whole day off.
I shifted it.
Yeah.
Shifted the recovery game.
Yeah.
When you say it's the perfect time in history for this,
Yeah.
why do you feel like wellness is trending right now? Because it feels
It's
like
so stupid to me that wellness wouldn't be the thing to always be trending.
I know.
Right? Through every generation. I mean, I just think that we're getting better information, and when I look at now what people do, like, I mean, I've been around so long, I think about, like, I rolled out Pilates for Valley Total Fitness, which was the largest chain of fitness centers. And I was in my 20s, okay, like a long time ago. And, there were no reformer classes there, so I think you get that. And you get people who get interested in yoga, and because they have a good experience with the stretching part of yoga, they seek out that ancient spirituality of yoga, and then I think you've got the biohackers, love them or hate them, they're creating a market to bring new devices into fruition. And so I'm just saying, I think people are kind of like, hey, it's not just enough to like make money and have a family and do all that it's about living this level of existence that people can't even really understand. And you cannot do it without being inside of a healthy vehicle.
Yeah. It's not just about living, it's about living well.
Living well.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay. Then on that, we were talking a little bit before the podcast, you were talking about your mission. I'd love for you to share, as we get into this, what your mission is.
Yeah. So I feel like there's, Ashley Black, the person, and then there's Ashley Black, the brand. So Ashley Black, the person, my mission is so simple. It is to do whatever I can within my power with whatever level of influence I have in this incarnation to be a raise in consciousness and help create a raise in consciousness. I feel like all of the answers are out there in a raise in consciousness and a different way of understanding the world, the way it works, the way we work. For me, it's about like helping people navigate from this really outdated sort of belief system that it's like all about the hustle mentality, and that's like the only way to be wealthy or the only way to be happy, right? So it's kind of been coming on for me as I've lived in Costa Rica and started to really peel back the onion layers, and also just being more mature. But yeah, I think that there are things that we can do. And when I go to anything where we're talking about longevity, I'm always just like, they're missing it.
Yeah. So raising collective consciousness.
Yep.
I've also heard you say fascia is consciousness.
That's a good one, right? Yes. So let me say what I mean. So my mission is to help raise consciousness. My company's mission is to have every man, woman, and child, and whatever you identify with, completely knowledgeable of what their fascia is and how to treat it. Right now, obviously, I'm going to endorse my own way because I know that it works. But as more and more things come out, I'm going to jump on everybody else's bandwagon. Because it is very important. The fascia, I don't think that it's just like, oh, we didn't know about it. I feel like it was something more intentional. All I can tell you and your viewers, and this will just make you go, is that when we are anesthetized, okay, so when we go from conscious to unconscious, the fascia, which is like tubules in a lot of places, it's also like stiff sort of like material sheath. But it collapses. It literally collapses flat and stops working. Okay. Your brain doesn't do that. Your heart doesn't do that. Your organs don't do that. Nothing happens to your skin. Like, it's the only thing in the body that's totally off when you go unconscious like that. So for me, it's like, we may not have like a pure definition of what consciousness is, but we may kind of know where it lives. And the reason I think we know where it lives in the fascia is that, people talk about it being light pipes in the body, right? And they talk about it being, it's the fourth state of water. It's crystalline. It's fractal, and so I think there's a huge shift of people like starting to want to understand that. And this was all going on in the Nikola Tesla, even Dr. A.T. Stills, who's the father of fasciology, in my opinion. He's the only one that was talking about it. They were all onto it, but that's what they call it. They call it an antenna. We already know, like from a medical standpoint, it's the number one primary sensory organ in the body, and it can sense outside the brain. So for me, it's like if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and duck. And what I mean by that is like if you look at mycelium and you look at fascia and you look at the quantum web, they all behave quantumly, right? I think it's one energetic connection. I think that the fascia is the field of our body. And what's crazy is it goes from looking like a honeycomb, which we know is very fractal, and sacred geometries and all of that. It goes flat. And that's how it got discovered. There was like a magazine that came out and they're like, we've discovered a new organ. It's called the interstitial. And what had happened was the guy studied pathology. And so he was told, put this powder and this chemical and whatever. And then this tissue is going to have these cracks in it. So they thought that was part of the preservation process to look at the pathology. And, it wasn't until this French doctor, Jean-Claude, kept the patient alive and took a camera underneath the skin till we see this insane, literally, it looks like light pipes glowing. And not only that, it changes shapes. It is a literal, it can remodel. So just imagine that. It's almost like, it reminds me of when we did our drums. We were winding and winding this one thing. So I don't know. I get real dorky about it. And once I just said string, I was like, okay, do you want to go into string theory now? But it is the same thing.
Yeah.
Like there are these little, whether they're, I don't want to say real, tangible, we'll ever be able to see them, who knows? I think that they can manifest as that, obviously. But I also think there are these little energetic connections that we can't see.
So having this knowledge, because somebody hearing this might be having their mind blown right now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy. I can't see it. I don't experience that. I don't know that. Knowing this, like as you've come into this information and in your day-to-day life, how has knowing this about fascia, knowing this about consciousness shifted how you live and what you focus on?
Well, I mean, for me, it's like fascia first.
Okay. What does that mean?
Well, I think of it like if the fascia literally surrounds literally every single cell, right? So I think of that like soil. Our fascia is like soil to the cells the same way soil is to plants, right? So that's a super easy analogy to think of. So if you were if the flowers were dying, you would water them and you do whatever. But, if they really started to have a problem, what would you do? You would clean the roots, get better soil, put some compost in that bitch and keep it moving. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like if we don't have good soil of our body, it doesn't matter what supplement it will take because number one, it will not absorb. It doesn't matter what type of training that we do because our body's going to be slightly off in some way or another, a forward shoulder, a shifted neck, a rotated pelvis, a SI joint that doesn't move, plantar fasciitis, whatever. That this much, Ryan, changes the tensegrity model of our body.
I love how controversial you are, Ashley. It's great.
I feel like I'm just making sense.
Yeah. In where we are in Osara, Costa Rica. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to keep your finger on the pulse though of, I call them the normies, but it's just people that really haven't been exposed to this type of life. I say it all the time. I'm so incredibly grateful, and I think people are like, they meet me and they're like, are you really this positive? And it's like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have anything to like pray for other than like things for the world at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just so incredibly incredibly grateful for the life here. And I do feel like people just haven't experienced it yet.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean they have to come to Costa Rica and, do all of that. But it is a baby step. It is a unpeeling. It is a relearning.
Yeah. I love that a lot. And your Instagram's Real Ashley Black.
The real Ashley Black.
I love how real you are. You're so real.
I'm exactly like that, right?
Yeah, I know. This is you. This is who you are. And there are some things that people, obviously wouldn't know about you being on your social media, like how you get down and twerk at ecstatic dance. Someday, gotta let people know you be getting down out there, and we love it. But what
it's the drums when the drums.
I know when they hit, those hips move. But what made you move from the hustle bustle culture city? Because some would say, oh, you have more impact there.
Yeah.
Like, what made you move to a blue zone? What made you move to Nosara, Costa Rica?
So, the first answer was I don't think that I ever thought I would do this. Like, if you flash back to about 10 years ago, I think I would have been the one that was like, I'm building this $1 billion business. I'm going to have my private plane. I'm probably going to have a home in Whistler, a home in, and I thought that was the thing. And I actually thought that I was really happy. And I was to some extent. And I thrive in hustle culture. Mm-hmm. But it's fun to go drive a Ferrari 3 times around the track. It's not, 30 years around the track at that speed, And so for me, the first time that I really realized like, oh, something is happening to me is I had moved to Tamarindo and just happened to be this sign up for these women to go through a year of intensive yoga, the spiritual side as well as the practice. And I hadn't been in any city for more than about 8 days in 14 years. So for me to say, I'm going to go to what everybody thought was like a hole in the wall. I don't know what people, this is a long time ago. This is 12 years ago. So you could throw a football down. I bet nobody was even in Nosara 12 years ago. But so anyway, I come down there and I took my last child to college and I stayed 30 days and then it became 60 and then I think I had to go back. But then my whole mind shift went from instead of going back and forth, like I don't have kids anymore at home. I don't have to be anywhere specific for my job. I can do it from my laptop. Like maybe I could actually live on a surf break. And it just sort of happened. I even fought it a lot. Like, oh, let me keep the home and I think you feel those attachments because in the moment, like let's say I have my house in Texas, my house in LA, and my car and my stuff the way I like it, and it feels like, okay, I accomplished that. I had that, but it's like letting go of now I don't want to own shit. Do you want to buy the house? If I had, I do love having this home, but it's like, if I had a do-over, I would tell people, you can rent anything you want. Unless you were going to park yourself in one spot, for 20 years, don't buy anything. Everything is for rent. You can always find something. You can always pick up and go. And that's what we're really finding is, amazing for our continued growth and learning is like, you don't learn when you're not doing something new. You're in your, call it your hamster wheel. The yogis call it the samskaras. So for me, I think the excitement of my life, the calmness of my life, the peace, the athleticism, the like being 53 and feeling 25, all of that is from making changes. Mm. It's timely being the first day of the year of the fire horse.
Yes. We did this right.
It's time to... I feel that too. I feel like I'm really ready to hard charge this year.
Mm-hmm. So I see you now as such a heart-led, I would call it selfless human. Like you really give so much to so many people. It's really, really inspiring. It's really inspiring for how much you have. It's often that we experience people that will have the most will actually give the least.
Yeah.
And what I noticed about you is you're such a giver. Mm-hmm. But to build what you've built,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure many people have this question, to build something financially significant,
Yeah.
can you actually lead selflessly and build finance, or do you have to be selfish to build that financial path? How did you
I
build
mean,
what
I
you
think
built?
for sure you can be heart led,
Yep.
but I also think that, even our most woo woo people, that are all transcending up into their upper chakras. Well, what about that root?
Yeah.
Having financial, I'm just going to call it success for a second. Having financial success is part of just being a whole human. It's your stability, it's your relief of anxiety related to that. But, I wrote a whole nother book that was about like what is success, right? And so for me, success is whatever your success is. And if you were my, client and I was going to sit you down and go, okay, let's revamp your business life. The first thing I would do is be like, what do you want your daily life to be like? You want to, I'll do mine. I want to surf. I want to have sex. I want to grow my own food. I want to, cook my own meals. I want to, watch weird surfy films at night.
Orchidic stuff.
I want to go to my Monday women's circle. I want to do okay. So once you do that, it's like, okay, well, how much money do you actually need to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I always look at it in terms of 6%. So like if you could sell a company, I don't even think most people know this. Let's just say you sell a company for 20 million, which these days sounds really low. Like that is a tiny company. And people could build that out of their garages these days, right? 20 $20 million if you just take 6% on it. So you never touch your 20 million. You put it in the bank, you live on your investments. And I'm talking about real estate stuff. It's $100,000 a month for the rest of your life. Okay. So I think people are way overshooting the goal. How many people do you go, how much money do you want to make? And they'll be like, oh, if I could just, make $5 million, or if I could just make X amount a month. And it's like, when you really reverse engineer that, we're all overshooting the goal. I think it's that dwindling off from the Gen X, where it's like more is better always,
You are truly such a bridge person. Like, to hear you talk about money in this way, to see the place we're in that you call home.
I'm out here probably 2-3 hours a day, literally in this exact spot.
Yeah, it's amazing. And people would notice how you spend your time. So natural. And yet you bridge this natural and modern.
Yeah.
You bridge this financial success, but spiritual maturity.
Yeah.
Like, you bring these parts. What do you feel like on this topic of finance? Because it's super interesting. What do you feel like when people talk about the energetics of money?
Mm-hmm.
What's something about money that you think people misunderstand, and about making money that you think is a misconception?
I mean, I think you make it to give it, and then it multiplies and you make it to give it. It's really funny. We have a common friend the other day that was feeling some financial pressure. And I said, okay, don't hate me. I said, but what I want you to do, you have $10. We're just making it up. You have $10 in your bank account. Okay. Then go pull it out. You take 5 and then give away the other 5, or go give away a free session. You need to give. Because when you're stagnant with your money, it's because you're not releasing, So, I mean, I think everything can be boiled down to fear and love. And to me, when we stockpile and whatever, then that's fear-based, versus love-based. So for me, when I look at my spreadsheets and, because I'm going to exit my company pretty soon, and I'm looking at like my big chunk that I'm going to get and what I'm going to be able to do, I am very rarely thinking about what I want. It's like, oh my gosh, if I put, 30 million into a foundation, and then I think, oh my God, this person could run it. They've always wanted to, so like I am truly heart-based in the fact that I'm going to get mine. Like, don't worry. I'm not going to feel guilty on the yacht. Okay.
Yeah.
But I just think when you're given God's favor the way that I was with what we talked about the last podcast, which was a near-death experience, and you're given a purpose, a passion, and I have been given favor. I've also had boulders thrown in my face, but I have definitely, we don't do things the way like a normal company does because this is very spirit-led, and yeah, so with that said, money is meant to come in and it's meant to go out, and it's meant to multiply through who you give it to, what they can accomplish with it, and then how does that come back? And it really works. It's not, to me, it's almost like a secret to the universe.
It looks like it's getting a little dark here. Let's turn the light on.
Hey,
There we go.
that's so funny. We're like, let's do sunset. Meanwhile,
And it got dark. I guess sunsets get dark eventually. Good thing we have light.
let there be light.
All right, let's then get into a speed round
Speed round, let's go.
of questions that we are curious about, that we want to know from Ashley Black. You said earlier before the podcast, having it all means something different now, means something different to you than maybe traditionally what it meant. What does it mean to you to have it all?
I mean, I think, again, like kind of going back to what we said earlier, like you constantly have to drop into your life and go, am I on my path to success the way I've defined it? Like, am I healthy? Am I happy? Am I peaceful? Are my relationships working? Do I have money in the bank? Am I working too much? Am I working too little? Am I living in the wrong place? Am I with the wrong partner? We constantly have to drop in with that. And so for me, having it all definitely now is way less about money and way more about, I'll tell you the one that's on the other end of the spectrum for me, community, So yeah, so when I say have it all, I do think you can have it all. Women, we can work, we can be mothers, we can be friends, we can be lovers, we can be surfers, we can do it all. We have to learn discipline, discernment, and we also just have to make an action plan to get to that. I didn't just pop up and surf today out of nowhere. Like, this was planned with my finances, with with my
Consistency.
yeah.
And being able to be present, right? In a world of distraction, the superpower of being able to be present is a game changer.
It is the game changer. It is the game changer. I think that I spent a lot of my life in freeze.
Yes.
Now all these new terms are coming out, which make it so helpful to sort of identify these things, when you're in the hustle culture. And it was also my passion at the time, Now it's just expanded, so I'm not leaving it behind, but there's just so much more out there. But like, you've got your passion, your purpose, your business, your, like grow, get the next player, get the next thing, get the, next clinic, move to Hollywood, like it was just all very, very fast. And I think I've kind of determined, Ryan, you're going to love this, that people aren't really inherently assholes. They're in a hurry. Think about how different you act when you are in a hurry. Like it happens to me sometimes. I'll be on one of these roads. I'm in my Polaris, and here I see him coming. A truck kicking up dust like a dust storm.
Yeah.
And it's like, where are they going? And then it's like it's some construction or whatever. And so I really want to honor what you said about being present, because being present is, I don't want to say being slow, but it's like being so in that moment that you cannot think about the past or the future, and I'm just so blessed that I get to live so many of my moments like that now.
So true. I mean, anxiety and fear don't exist in the present. Like, anxiety is a past or future based thing.
Right.
So obviously it's a gateway. We can go down many paths, but you mentioned community. And
Yes.
I think a lot of people can understand, like, wanting to have all the gadgets and have all the things. And it's something money can't necessarily buy. And we've talked about this before, but
right.
community is the number one biohack.
I think so too. I mean, I love the whole sociogenomics, and it's just unbelievable how, uh, you know, I think it goes back to me and my weird machine in the backyard. You know, we vibrate with what's around us, you know, and everything has a vibration. Everything from, you know, wearing natural fiber clothes to the vibration of, you know, our fascia, to the vibration of our cells. It's like we're moving so much that way that, like, why wouldn't you think it is important? First of all, your small community, the 5 people you have around you all the time, you know, they say that's who you become, and it's so true. You know, but then there's the expanded community and then the expanded consciousness. And I just, you know, I just think it's so hugely important. And I like to say this because it's something that I've learned in being older. Like, I remember when I moved into my like estate in Texas, it was on 10 acres, and we had the nosiest neighbor at the house we were at before, and we were just crammed into it. And so I just remember we all like got at the 4 corners of the pool, and we were running, and we're like, fuck the neighbors. And we jumped in, you know, and it was really like we wanted to cocoon up. It was like we had it, you know, and we were so busy. Big hustle mentality. This is the launching of the business, you know, whereas now it's not fuck the neighbors. It's like, wow, I need my neighbors, you know, and that is something that's been new in my life in the past 2 years. And it has changed my life completely. I have made friends that I know will be with me for the, you know, long term. And same thing with me. Like, there's some people that I've met here. You're one of them. Like, I will go to the ends of the earth for you. And it's just so crazy because, you know, there's an immediate resistance to it. It's like, a neighbor, you know.
And now you have neighbors and monkeys. If you can hear in this, if there are monkeys screaming from the jungle, these are your neighbors now.
I know.
But these friends that you've built in this way, so I imagine when you're in the States and in that hustle, in that build phase, it can be harder to drop into authentic relating, authentic friendship.
Yeah.
What do you think for people is the missing piece to authentic relating and lifers, right? Long-term.
I think it's like saying yes to the thing that you might think is weird. You know, like, we have something here called Women's Circle. I never know if we are going to steam our hoo-ha or drum chant about our periods or strip. But what I will say is that, you know, it's women here for me that feel so safe because we're all on the same path. We're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to discover what it is to really be a woman, or, you know, in that particular context, you know. So it's like when you do weird stuff together and you don't judge, and they do weird stuff with you and nobody's judging, and we're just there to be a full support, start to form, you know, these deep friendships. And, you know, I really do think that is probably the biggest thing. I mean, looking at like it's not ikigai, I forget what they call it in Japanese, but you have these friends, but it makes all the difference for me. You know, you and I both, I went through a breakup with somebody who I'd been with a long time. You've been through a breakup recently. And it's like, the second you don't have that first core person, it's like, oh my God, thank God I have my community. And they do. They swoop in and they hold you and they hold space for you and they pray for you. And, you know, and I think it's all about, you know, everybody's told me like, oh my gosh, you made friends so quickly. But it's like, I feel like I brought the vibration. Like, I brought the willingness to be open. I brought the yes stamp. So I really think it's as simple as saying yes.
Yeah. Be real.
Yeah, be real.
The real Ashley Black.
The ego, right? Like, dropping the ego and worrying about what people would think and what are you going to wear and what I look stupid right now and all that kind of stuff, because that's just things that strip you raw. And if other people are in there raw like that, you know, and so I think there's so many places that you can seek this out, even more in the the modern world. Like I've noticed things like sound journeys, and definitely people are being more open to like festivals and like syncing up to like a really amazing DJ on mushrooms or whatever, and I think all of us here, this is all so normal, but it really is what gives you the I have it all.
Yes. Well, great segue into the spaces that we go into, right? Like ecstatic is a sober dance container. And then you have other party containers, you have other spaces. You are a bridge person, I see, that can be in all these spaces, can be in your yacht in Miami.
Totally comfortable with that too.
That can be here in the jungle, in your spiritual hippie, spaces as well. I'm curious when it comes to like the sober or the substance spaces for you, where do you feel like you can be in your fullest expression?
Wow, that's so interesting. So I had a New Year's party and I was going to be like, it's sober-ish, right? It was more sober towards the beginning.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have a space where people, if they wanted to have a glass of champagne, I didn't offer like bar and stuff like that, but I kind of put it out there like, hey, come over, you can do whatever you want, but like, I'm not pulling you out of my pool or kicking you out at 1:00 in the morning. Like, get here, be home by 1, and did the semi-sober. I mean, I think at the end of the day, the reality, unless you're doing a substance that is part of the presence, meaning like doing a ceremony or something like that, if we're not completely sober, we're not completely present, because we have to have our full, our full access to everything without it being inhibited. And so for me, I can go to a bar and have 2 or 3 drinks and enjoy myself. And I can go to ecstatic dance and flip out in front of everybody completely sober. I feel fluid with that. I think I've had a really rigid life. And 2 or 3 years ago, it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to count macros anymore. Okay. I'm not going to be like, I am going to start 5 days a week. And I'm just like, I need to flow. And so I'm kind of like that on the substances. It's like, if I see something that I want to do or try, or the moment relates, like, let's go. But I don't even seek stuff like that. I could be completely sober.
I see you in that.
And it's fine. Yeah.
A lot of people don't give themselves permission. Why do you feel like you've unlocked this ability that I've seen you unlock? It's obvious to give yourself consistent permission.
I mean, I think that goes back to like love and fear. Like it's the receiving energy, that me caring, giving. Trust me, I went in Ola Elijah today and I'm like, I could get this sticker for this person. I can, like that was very, very natural for me. So I think that cracking the code is really learning how to fully receive without any judgment on yourself or the other person for receiving, and not tying it to like, oh, this means that, or that means that, or if I gave that, we should do this or whatever. Like just all the expectations dropped and just fully be present in receiving. And it is amazing. You have to tap in your own intuition. One of the things you taught me, I don't even think I'd ever heard the word embodiment. It's like checking in with our body. Why are we doing that? We're checking in to see if it feels good, if it feels right. And for me, I got no problem saying no. There's some weird stuff that goes on down here too. And to somebody else, it's not weird, and that's fine. Like, do your thing. I don't judge. But like, I know where, my boundaries are. And, that's where anger comes from, is when we violate our boundaries or somebody else's or whatever. So I'm not trying to create any of that karma. And then there's things also too that, I changed my mind on. I remember when I very first moved here, this guy was basically like, you need to do ayahuasca and figure that out. And I remember thinking like, people are crazy, And then it took many conversations with many spiritual people that I respected before I was even, open to that. So what I would say is you don't have to, go do everything like people try to do. They try to do 1 week and they're like, I'm going to do mushrooms, and then I'm gonna surf, and then we're doing yoga, and there's a shop in the, and it's like, that's not what it is. It's the day in and day out, really going, I am actually totally in control of what I'm doing right now. Like, if I want to surf, I'm gonna go surf. If I want to eat, I'm gonna eat. If I want to take a nap, and it's amazing.
Intuitive living is
Yeah.
tough for many people to grasp.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was a process. I went from being the most rigid person ever, and now I tell my company, like, if you're going to bring an Excel spreadsheet to the meeting, I'm not looking at that. Like, I've gone from one into the other, but I think that's, again, going like, what is it all about for me? And my highest value set is freedom.
Yeah.
And anything that doesn't feel like freedom,
I think many people have that as a North Star, want to cultivate freedom. And for a lot of people, it is aligned with health. Right. It's aligned with their health. What do you think one of the biggest misconceptions is of the health and longevity space?
So many, Ryan.
You'd be like top 3.
I mean, I feel like, first of all, if you're going to be talking about longevity, you need to be living a certain way. Like, I'll see some people that might be out, we'll just call them in my space. And it's like, if you're on a plane every couple of days, you're selling out arenas, you're working on your app, you're doing, like, I know what it takes to do all of that. And it's like, I just feel like we just have to be careful, because everybody's going to want like their own brand of longevity. And it's going to be like, oh, this person's known for the, I don't know, whatever. This person's known for they did this and that, when the reality is that it's very hard to have a longevity study, So I think we're doing, because it takes a long time, but I think we can look to the blue zones for sure. I mean, I've read all 3 of those books, and it's just, there's too many commonalities for, a more simple way of life to be one of the huge contributing factors. And that's what I think people miss. It's like, well, I get up, 2 hours before I have to go to the gym. And when I'm in the 2 hours, I do my meditation. And I'm just like, oh shit, I'm already tired.
Stressful. Being a bridge person, as I said before, you do so beautifully. The modern technology, you're up to date on research, on obviously the products you're putting out so people can have access to, but the natural, the basics, returning to the basics of what we need.
Yeah.
Like, I love that you are able to bridge those worlds. And it's not often you meet a bridge person.
Mm-mm.
And that's what whole human's about. It's to bring people back to the humanity.
Right.
Back to.
And we can't always cater to the ones that are already there. It's like they're already on their path. They're finding their thing. I do feel like it's our responsibility. I remember, so I come from a really churchy family, and I consider myself a Christian. But I basically was, in a heated discussion about curse words and whatnot with my family. And I said, I just want to know, what are y'all doing to spread the word? To which I got, well, we go to the, Wednesday night supper. We go to church on Sundays. We like da 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 da. And I'm like, so you are continuing to tell the message to the same people that already know it. And that was when I was like, because I'm out there, preaching fascia and how to take care of yourself, because somebody cannot be spiritual. They cannot be happy. They cannot, when they're in pain, So fascia is my vehicle to this whole just, helping people maneuver the 3D.
Yeah.
And live a 5D life. That may not resonate with everyone, but like just a higher vibrational life,
Raising the consciousness.
Raising that consciousness, because you will make different decisions.
Good job at it. You are known as the Queen of Fascia. You really are.
I don't know where the Queen of Fascia actually came from, but it was funny because the guy who founded the Global Fascia Congress, he said something and he was like, the Fascia Queen. And I was like, damn, this has made it.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay with being the fascia queen. To be honest with you,
Oh my God, I'll receive that.
I always talk about, like, when I start talking about fascia or my tools, I'm always like, guys, like, I've made my money. I'm not here to sell you on anything. I literally am telling you my insurance because I know that they work. If there's other things that come out that work, I'll buy them, partner with them, promote for them, or whatever. And you've been in my spa back there. I have a vibration plate. I have my Pilates machine. I've got red light belts because sometimes I'm too lazy to even use the Nexia back there, like cold plunge, sauna, whatever. So I am not closed. I'm even using like one of those hooks on the psoas, the cross balls. Do it. But I know that my tools regenerate fascia. So no other tool is doing that yet. So I am very much, out there preaching that, but that's not the message. The message is that actually I have a new marketing firm and we really, really boiled it down to don't settle. That's kind of like our new tagline. Like, don't settle with your health. Don't settle what you think is possible in your life, whatever. It's like, I love that. I think it's, not Brene Brown. I'll think of her in a second. I apologize. I follow you. Where she's basically talking about, like, why are we not, like, we get one life. Why aren't we running like the building is on fire for every single day? And I think that I actually do live my life like that now. Yeah. I am like in the stove all the time, and I feel like I definitely have entered a maturity because it's never been hard for me to be stoked, motivated, whatever. I am like a freaking soldier. I will plow. I'm a workhorse. Let's go. But I think for me, I've learned how to sort of relax into that, and sort of find the peace and like detach to like, when am I going to find the buyer? And when am this going to happen? When am I going to find my soulmate? That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. All that being said, what is next for Ashley Black?
Gosh.
You, not the
For
brand.
me, the person. Yeah. So this year is crazy. It's going to be fun to revisit this podcast every year.
Yeah.
My life moves very fast. But the intention, I tried to sell my company 4 years ago. And the thing that I really learned, like, it doesn't matter how much IP you have. It doesn't matter even really how much revenue you have or whatever. People want to invest at a very specific time. And it is right here. So I had to create that. And the only way to do that was to innovate the Nexia. And so my intention is all year to really try to find a loving, heart-centered, but qualified buyer that can actually do better than me, but that they have access to capital, distribution, and all that kind of stuff. So from on a business standpoint, all of that to say, I want more time to literally just do whatever comes to me in the moment. Because, when you're on this trajectory with business, it's very hard to get completely quiet, to get completely inspired, to focus on something new. But it is definitely coming. And it's been so fun to work with my wealth managers. I don't know if you've ever done that, because you're really just making shit up out of thin air. Like, oh, if I sell my company for $500 million, then I can do this, this, and this. But energetically, just like Joe Dispenza teaches, it puts me into those future potentials. And that is amazing, because it really is all about giving back. There's a little like celebratory money for me. But for me, honestly, like the biggest gift that I could have would be to wake up and not have my first thought be, what is my schedule today?
Wow. On that note, we asked you this last year. We're in the podcast. This is how I end every podcast.
I wonder what I said.
Right now for you, what does it mean for you to be whole?
Wow. I mean, it's kind of a simple answer. It's like love. Like, am I in love with me? Am I in love with life? Am I in love with my family? Am I in love with my community? And I literally walk around like that. I walk out here and I'm just like, God. Like it's the first time I ever saw it, you know? And surfing today, you know, it was not that good waves. It was really choppy. And I was just like, God, I surfed and then I did a little workout and I was laying on my surfboard looking at the sun. And I was just like, it is a Tuesday afternoon at 2:00 in the afternoon. Who else is doing this? You know? And so, yeah, that feeling of just, I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I'm just ready to give.
Living in love.
Just living in love, baby, with life, with everything. It's really true. And it's not fake.
No.
You can get to that place, you know, and I think I saw something the other day on Instagram and I said, oh, they are on to that science right there, man. But it's basically, you know, what we all know is that actual matter, particles change when they're observed. So that means that your reality as we know it can change depending on how you observe it. It's just like on Instagram, have you ever seen it where it's like brainstorm or Barbie or whatever? And it's like whichever one you're looking at is what you're going to hear. It's the same way with your life. Whatever you are putting your time and energy and attention and belief and emotion into will be the future that you materialize.
Well, you're the true embodiment of that. Seriously. It's seen on all levels. I love you guys.
I love you too.